I always cry with this one, so let's get ready. This one is an ode to Eastern Kentucky. Words cannot explain how sick to my stomach I have been at the sight of people mourning a disaster that they have named as natural. Fracking refers to the process of blowing up dirt and rocks to access the fossil fuels that lie beneath the mountaintops and the ground. It is this ecologically disastrous practice and others that have created the coal industry. And by the coal industry, I do not mean the hardworking people who risk their lives and get black lungs so that we can turn our lights on. I mean the people who exploit them and pay them as cheaply as they can to do incredibly dangerous work and destroy the earth while they do so. It is indeed this disastrous practice that is responsible for the floods of Eastern Kentucky. The interference with the land gave nowhere for the water to go except up. And it is climate change that caused the influx of rain, just as it is climate change that causes an influx of hurricanes and tornadoes. You see, the release of chlorofluorocarbons into the atmosphere causes a trap of heating that therefore changes both our climate and weather. This is all to say that the disasters we are seeing all across the world are not natural. We are losing entire communities, and we are only mourning them without protecting what we have left. This is why I mourn those who are now in the current, while in the same breath cursing the names of every executive, lobbyist, and politician who put them there. I want my children to not hate me for bringing them into a world that is dying or a world that capitalists are rapidly killing. It is in this political and scientific jargon that I lose many people. We have been conditioned to believe that when people are dying, it is not the time to talk about why. When our children are massacred at their elementary schools, we leave toys, flowers, and candles at the foot of their photos. We are told that this is not the time to push for gun reform because people are mourning. I say that this is the time. How often do we forego change that is brought upon us by the catalyst of a tragic event because we listen to those who conveniently want us to mourn silently? I cannot separate my grief from my anger, and anyone who can is not angry enough. If one day my body is in the current and I am a casualty from a death that could have been prevented, I do not wish to become a martyr. But if someone tells you that now is not the time to fight because my blood is too fresh, I give you permission to paint my name in blood anywhere that it will be seen. I am angry because I know that mountain people are simple people who take care of each other because no one else will. I am angry because Appalachia has long been coal country and it has not gone down without a fight. The Battle of Blair Mountain was one of the largest labor movements this country has ever seen. In 1921, 10,000 West Virginia coal miners marched to protest work conditions and wages. Troops waited in Kentucky to fight in coordination. This was the closest the United States has ever come to a class war, right here in the mountains. I'm telling you about this because miners have long been exploited, and Eastern Kentucky is the site of Appalachian workers' rights history. It was mountain people who last stood up to the executives, controlling literally every facet of their lives through company towns and false currency, and it will be us who stand up to them again. This is why we mourn for those who lost everything and those who died, while in the same breath cursing every person who keeps letting us die. Kentucky is my home, and I grew up walking barefoot in my gravel driveway, just like many of those now in the current. This is a beautiful place, and it is beautiful because there is so much here to exploit. This is the time to protect everything we can because further loss is only guaranteed as a result of the mutually reinforcing effects of climate change and capitalism. I want my kids and my grandkids to inherit a world that is not drowning. One thing commonly said about those from Appalachia is that they know how to endure. I agree. But one thing that I think people are conveniently not taught or forget is that they also know how to fight. There is no better time to fight than when people are suffering, which is to say that there is no better time to fight than right fucking now. And I am not here to tell you how to mourn, but I must tell you that the most important part of mourning the dead is fighting like hell for those of us who are still living.